So we'll look at the real world very quickly of how CFB did this through kindergarten enrollment. So this is the true story of a communications department. If you know MTV Real World, that's how it used to start out. So sorry, I'm aging myself. But they are bringing it back, so woo. But the real world, CFBISD, we've had over the last 5-10 years some stagnant enrollment growth. It hasn't gone up what we've liked. We have about 10 charter schools that have attacked our district just inside our district boundaries. So we are showing stagnant enrollment growth. And we thought, what better way than to increase enrollment by targeting some young parents to get them in the district, and hopefully they're going to stay. So our content marketing campaign, part of the campaign, was based on promoting kindergarten through this type of platform. So, of course, you have to start out with a SMART goal. So what we did is we said, by targeting mothers with preschool-age kids, we are going to increase kindergarten enrollment by 3%. That was our SMART goal. It was specific. It was measurable. We thought it was going to be attainable. So that's what we chose as our goal in CFBISD. But then the real work began, the real hustle, because that second step, remember, is defining your audience. So we had to do a lot of legwork, because the worst thing you can do as a marketer is think you know your audience without talking to your audience. It's the worst thing you can do, because what will happen, you'll see in a little bit, change the perspective of what we did and what we created. So I went out and did parent interviews. I went out to preschool PTAs. I went to preschools, and I interviewed parents. I told them a little about our kindergarten program. At the very end, I started interviewing some of them and gave them forms to fill out to talk about what their biggest concerns were about kindergarten. We did surveys targeting preschool parents through SurveyMonkey. Teacher interviews, because I really wanted to know, those are the people on the front lines, the kindergarten teachers. They know the complaints they're getting from the parents. They know why the parents might be leaving mid-year. They see what's going on in the classroom, so teacher interviews were vital. We started developing personas for certain people or certain demographics in our neighborhoods. And at the end, I'll show you a link of how you can get all this stuff. And I put some personas that we've created in that link that you can have. But then we did roundtables with teachers and parents so they could feed off each other, really find out the problems, and then phone interviews. So we did some extensive research trying to figure out about our audience. So from all of this, I pretty much found out a lot of pain points and aspirations of kindergarten or preschool age parents, what they wanted and what they were scared of. And a lot of things bubbled to the top. And we thought, let's talk about our innovative reading curriculum, or how they're going to be learning math at an accelerated rate in our district. That's what the parents really want to know. But no, through these interviews, through these questionnaires, the biggest thing is they were scared to send their babies to kindergarten because of the basics. Where do I drop them off for carpool? I don't know. Am I allowed to walk them in the first day? Do they have naps? Do they do this? Do they do that? It was the simple stuff. What time do they eat? Can I bring their lunch? Can I sit with them at lunch the first week? They wanted to know the basics because they were scared. This is the first time for some of them to go into an established education school. They wanted to know the basics. So we shifted from really touting, our big reading, initiatives, our big, mathematical initiatives. We started concentrating at first on the basics through our content marketing. And they didn't, like I said earlier, they don't want to hear it from us. They wanted to hear it from those expert kindergarten teachers. We went to our teachers. We had them start developing content. And to make our parents very comfortable and to have sort of that mommy blogger atmosphere, we started a hub. We called it CFBkinder.com, where parents had a one-stop place to go for all things kindergarten. So on that site, we just started putting content written by our teachers, filmed videos by our teachers of just different of the basic things that our students we're going to do during those first couple months of kindergarten. Like, what's a typical day look like in kindergarten? There's a new kindergarten out there. What are they doing differently? It's not just crayons and markers anymore. What you can do now for your child to be successful when they start kindergarten in the fall. We just started putting content on this site. And that was fed through our schoolahoop.com blog, where our expert kindergarten teachers were writing articles. We incorporated videos. We went into the classroom and filmed what a real classroom looks like, what a real restroom break looks like, what a real going to the cafeteria looks like. We showed them what they were doing inside the classroom. We gave them articles from other sources, not just our own, parenting magazines, educational magazines. We gave them content on this website. And of course, once that started to build up through organic, we wanted to reach more and more people. So we started fueling or feeding the content through Facebook ads. And I was able to go on there and specifically target preschool-age parents that had 4-year-olds that were looking at kindergarten, and they lived in our district or right on the boundaries of our districts. And did I give them an ad right away saying, enroll now for CFBISD? No. We pushed this useful content out to our parents. Because what did we want to do? We wanted to become the trusted source for kindergarten in the DFW area. We continued to push out this content, but every once in a while in this content, we put like, join us at our kindergarten roundup, or come to our Facebook Live event. So once we started doing this smaller content written by our teachers and produced by our teachers, we decided to take it a step further, and we started creating big rock content. And I can't take credit for that name. Jason Miller, who is the head marketer at LinkedIn, he's a rock photographer at night and a content marketer guy during the day for LinkedIn. He calls it big rock content. That's some of the bigger things that you're going to do. So some of our posts started saying, we're about to have this event. Expert teachers, roundtables, where you can ask them live any question you want from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to ride up to the school. You don't have to come up and schedule a meeting with the principal or the kindergarten teachers. We're going to have 8 kindergarten teachers live, and you can ask them any questions you want. Of course, we had some stage questions. And of course, parents knew about this event, so they started sending in their questions through email to make sure their questions were written. But this Facebook Live event, and we promoted it on our site, so a lot of the blog posts that we sent out, click here to visit our event. And they signed up through Facebook, and they knew. This event we're just talking about a niche audience that we were attracting, preschool moms. The live event and the replay, we got about 24,000 views of the video of just people wanting to know what a typical day in kindergarten was like. It worked so well that I went through and I cut out every question that was answered by our expert teachers, and I made a separate 1-minute video for each one of those questions and put it on YouTube. They went crazy. And then what did I do? I took those videos and started boosting them or doing more ads about, those specific questions. So it grew and grew and grew. Then after this event, we started pushing people back to our kindergarten hub where they can find more and more of our content. And we have this. On our site, we had a button because they wanted to know the basics. They wanted to know how to prepare their kid for kindergarten. We had a button that said, click here, and you can download a checklist of how to prepare your student for kindergarten. A simple 1-page checklist of things your student should be able to do before they reach kindergarten. People were clicking. People were clicking. People were clicking. People were clicking. We built up a niche email address. So we collected email addresses, their first name and last name, to get your free checklist. And not only do we have, we have our list of, everyone that's in our schools, but now we had a database of emails of parents that had preschool kids right at our fingertips. They opted in for this checklist and they gave us their email address. And what were we able to do? And this is through Lead Pages, by the way, leadpages.net. It's an awesome program. I think it's about $300 a year. It's definitely worth it. You can set up. We've done this with Gifted and Talented. We've done this with our dual language programs. We're building niche lists because we do not want to focus on the overall parent. We want to focus on specific groups to target them of what they want. So once we got their email, did I send out an email saying, register now for CFBISD? No. I continued over a week. Each week I sent out a different email, and I sent out content and content and content. I did some of those videos that I cut up. That was one of them. I did a school locator list so they can figure out where all the kindergarten, schools were in our district. Some more blog posts they might find interesting. And then visit some of our events, like our calendar roundup. So I was not selling them anything. I was giving them valuable content to promote kindergarten. So I basically created a funnel as they worked through the system of putting content out there, putting content out there, putting content out there, that eventually drove them to this kindergarten landing page where they signed up with their email. So they opted in with their email address, and then I kept sending out more and more content. If anyone knows anything about Gary Vaynerchuk, I would encourage you to watch his videos, but just not at work. He likes to use certain words. But he's very well known in the marketing community. And he has a book that came out, I think, 6 years ago, maybe 5, called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And that's what I based this whole thing on. It was give them valuable content. Give them valuable content. Give them a checklist. Give them a blog post. Give them a video about the typical day of school. You jab them. You jab them. You jab them. Then, boom, you right hook them with the sell. You've given that valuable information to them. You've become the trusted source in kindergarten. Then, once you know you've hooked them, you do that right hook. And that's when you start saying, hey, guess what? Today's the day. You're registering for school. You got to be excited. We have great teachers. We have expert teachers that are going to teach your child and make them become successful. That's when we sold them with that right hook, after giving them months and months of valuable content. We gave them that right hook. Now, do you just keep giving them right hooks? No, you got to work the body, you got to work the head, right, with the jabs. You continue to give them valuable content. If they didn't buy in the first time, boom. That's what good Facebook retargeting is. A lot of people went to maybe register their kid. Use the Facebook Pixel. Google that if you don't know what it is. Facebook Pixel. If they went to that site and they were this close to registering their kid to start kindergarten the next year, but they didn't do it, Facebook knows that. Facebook knows they got to this step in the process and they didn't make the plunge, so you can give them some more content to nudge them to make that final click to register their kid for kindergarten. So I love that approach. Jab, 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 right hook. And basically what the philosophy is, you continue to drive them to that next step in the process. You send them to different locations, the website, the content, the different social media, blog posts. And then finally, when you know you've got them, and people are going to be, I'm registering right away for kindergarten. And then some people are going to be really slow burn. You have to go out a long time. But that is basically the model we did, is just keep pushing them to the next step until they click that button and register to enroll their child in CFBISD. So that's sort of how CFBISD did it with one campaign. Like I said, we've done it with several other programs, several other groups. But if you're like me and you said, I don't know, corporate world could be doing it a lot better. So when I go out and think of designs and things like that, or what colors should look like, things like that, I go to forever21.com. I go to urbanoutfitters.com. I see what the hip and stylish graphics are, the things like that. So companies that are really rocking it in content marketing, as we're about to finish up, Red Bull, they are not a drink company. They are a media company that sells drinks. They have their own record label. They have their own magazine. They have their own video channel. They produce short documentaries about surfing, cliff diving, things like that. And because they're attracting and putting out that awesome content, those type of people are the ones that buy Red Bull to get that adrenaline boost. Lego, everyone is excellent or everything is excellent. That was a movie about Legos. That's like the ultimate content marketing. A $50 million Lego ad. That is content marketing at its best. And then, of course, if you don't know anything about Cleveland Clinic, they are the number one leading source in Cleveland for medical knowledge about tips and suggestions of staying healthy, what different diagnoses could be. Look up Cleveland Clinic on Twitter. That's their main source. They tweet all this information out all day, every day. And they go to your website. It's so much valuable information. I mean, they're saving lives just posting some of the stuff out there. So people go to their hospital as the leading authority on cancer, on diabetes, because they're putting out valuable content. They have a content team of like 15 people for a hospital putting out content. Now they're able to sell their content on like WebMD and things like that. They are their own company now of just a publishing company and also a hospital. So it's unbelievable. So as we end, I'll look some of the trends I think that are going to happen in content marketing that you might want to look at too and jump in for your school district. Real-time customer service. Be on social media. Listen to your audience. Answer those questions right away or as soon as you can. Customer service is going to be big. I think it's Hilton. They have a Twitter called Hilton Suggests. And all they do is they have a team of 5 people that look for hashtags and look for certain keywords of cities people are in. And someone goes like, I've been walking all day in Anaheim. I can't find a place to eat. Hilton Suggests will say, did you try Oogie's or whatever that piece of place is? So they'll suggest places. They'll be like, what's the best hotel in the area? Sometimes they'll name another hotel because it's cheaper for that type of family. It's Hilton Suggests. So they're suggesting different places, different things that people can do. You need to have that customer service. Always be answering your audience. Video content, of course, we know there's hundreds of sessions here this year. Video, it's where it's at. But I will say that audio content, in my opinion, I might have stolen this a little bit from Gary Vaynerchuk, it's going to be the next wave. Do you know what the number one gift last year for people for Christmas was? Alexa. Amazon Alexa. That was the number one product sold on Amazon and the number one gift given at Christmas. Why? Because we don't want to have to watch video. We want to be able to listen to it in our car when we're doing 20 other things. Audio is going to be the big next wave. I tell you, those skills on Amazon. A mom wakes up in the morning, Alexa, what's on the school menu today? Boom. Alexa, is there a snow day today? Because my kid keeps bothering me. No. Boom. So audio is where it's going to be at. Micro-influencers, find those influencers in your district. They could be parents. They could be principals. They could be community members. Micro-influences are big. That's the big hot topic in market right now. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It can be a local expert or celebrity. And I'm not talking about like an athlete or anything. I'm talking about like a rock star teacher to start doing your content. And of course, user-generated content. I tweeted the other day, we did a takeover of our Instagram by our drill team. In 24 hours, I had 800 extra followers on Instagram because they wanted to see what their friends were posting on Instagram. Not me. They wanted to see what the drill team was going to post. 800 followers, and they didn't leave. It's an awesome way to gain trust is using the content of not your departments, but of your parents and your students. And of course, I mentioned before Twitch. It's just funny to me that is going to be a thing that people are watching video games all day, every day. But it's a thing. I would look into it and see where it's at. And the last thing I will tell you, though, I know I've talked about like traditional media is bad, content marketing's where it's at, but this is a CFBISD graduate. She's a leading authority of marketing and social media in the world. Her name's Shama Hyder. She says this quote, and I'll let you read it, but basically what it says is, you got to find the right mix of marketing. You need to find what's going to work together, how that's going to work. You could still use traditional media sometimes if you think that's going to work with your audience. You can use content marketing. You can use social media. You got to find the right mix that's going to make the right sense to drive and engage the most people possible. So that's basically it. Here's my email address. If anyone wants to contact me with questions, I'll be here afterwards if you have any questions. This is my Twitter. If you want to I know it's a lot easier sometimes just to ask stuff on Twitter. And then if you go to, this is my blog, www.socialmediaschoolhouse.com. The first blog post, it should have scheduled at about 10:30 when this thing started. I have a link on that blog post to my slideshow, to my slide notes, some audience personas we developed, part of our kindergarten marketing plan that deals with content marketing, and some other stuff. So if you go there, you can get all the slides, all the information I talked about, and some extra goodies that you might be able to use in your district. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.